Well, coming up next Wednesday, the Military Bowl in Annapolis, Virginia Tech taking on Tulane. We had the chance to meet our next guest a couple years ago as they were getting ready to face Maryland in a bowl game, and now he gets to come home and punt pretty close to where he grew up. He is a Calvert Hall alum and Virginia Tech punter. He is Mr. Peter Moore, and he's with us here on GCR again. Peter, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to catch up, man. Happy holidays to you. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Thank you for having me on.
Man, it's good to chat with you. I wonder if maybe the reaction from some of your teammates wasn't quite as amped up about the idea of playing in Annapolis, but I'm guessing perhaps you were maybe a little bit more excited than other guys in the room were.
I was definitely excited just to get the opportunity to play in front of all my family, all my friends back home. It's just really special. So it's definitely a little bit more special to me compared to other guys on the team.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for the game.
What does this mean to you, right? I again, knowing that you haven't been extraordinarily far away playing down in Blacksburg. It's not like, guys that go out and play at Texas or something like that. But with everybody being back home for the holidays, I'm guessing you've probably heard from a bunch of people who are going to come to the game. How much does it mean to you personally to be able to do this?
Yeah, it means a lot to me, just especially because a lot of people can't get down to Virginia Tech to watch me play. So just to have some family members that haven't been down to Blacksburg yet, some friends also, just to be able to see that game is going to be really special to me.
It's going to be really cool and a neat moment for you and your family, I have no doubt. Next Wednesday here in Annapolis. All right, Peter, let's work our way back because I don't know that everybody remembers the last time you were on with us. I remember being touched by you talking about the impact that watching Sam Cooke had on you and your direction and becoming a punter. Because I think as we talked about then, I don't feel like most guys stand around at the age of 14 or what, probably a little bit younger than that, and say, punting, that's the path for me. That's what I'm going to do. Can you remind everybody of what your path was to punting, to why that became the thing for you, and a little bit about the impact that Sam Cooke, watching him, had on your direction?
Yeah, so I started with a huge soccer background. My whole family played soccer. My dad coached soccer. So I just kind of grew up playing soccer. And then about seventh grade, my friends back home just told me I should join the team as a kicker, the football team, and try it out. So I started kicking a little bit. And then when I got into high school, I started training with Coach Kirk Maggio in
Yep.
Baltimore. And he really got me into more of the punting side. And then I started watching and paying close attention to Sam Cooke. And I just got really hooked on punting and didn't really want to kick anymore. And that's kind of how I shifted into punting.
Of course, Kirk Maggio, the father of Dom Maggio, another Calvert Hall guy, and who punted at Wake Forest and a little bit in the NFL. When you got into it, Peter, was it like one of those things where, hey, I'm doing this, but I don't know, man, who knows where it takes me? Was there a moment where it stuck out for you, I can keep doing this? This might be something maybe I could do for a professional career.
Yeah, so I've been training with Coach Maggio, and he was telling me about what kind of track I was on, and he was confident in me. And then I went to some poles kicking camps just to compete with other guys nationally. And specifically, I went to one in Orlando. It's called the Underclassmen Challenge, and I competed with a bunch of different guys in my class, and I finished second in the camp, won a bunch of the competitions, and got ranked in the top 5 in the country. And that's when I kind of realized that I could do this a lot further than the high school level and maybe play professionally at one time. So it was definitely those camps that kind of made it stick out to me that I could do this in the future.
Peter Moore is with us from Virginia Tech, of course, Calvert Hall alum, getting ready for the Military Bowl next week in Annapolis. All right, so I guess we got to get to the money questions, right? What's the furthest? And I'm sure you're not measuring everything when you're just messing around, on a field somewhere. But what do you believe is the furthest that you've ever punted a football?
I think the furthest I've ever punted a football from the line of scrimmage in the air, no bounce, was 73 yards.
Okay, that's pretty impressive, right? Like, do you know? Is it like a baseball thing? Like, 'cause, baseball players when they connect, they know, right? Do you have a similar feeling as a punter? Like when you got the best of one, do you immediately like have like something go through your body, like an endorphin rush of some sort?
Yes, absolutely. Every time I hit a ball, I know exactly what direction it's going. I know what it's going to look like. I could do it with my eyes closed and know it just based off feel, just off of all the repetition I've done. I know when I've hit one perfect. I know when I haven't hit one as good. So there's definitely a feeling that I get where I can kind of tell.
Do you have one like that you remember significant? I know this again because the average person, this is going to sound silly, right? Like a special punt, what would that be? But do you have one, whether it was game circumstance or the nature of the punt, that during your career you're like, dude, that might have been the best thing that I've ever done as a punter?
There was a punt against Notre Dame 2 years ago, the 2021 season, that I hit. I think it was in the third quarter of the game, and I connected on it. I think it went 65 in the air.
Okay.
I remember when I hit it, it was like that was a different. I just got a hold of it.
Like you hear like music in your ears, like it's like a scene out of a movie, and everybody else is on the field like, dude, it was a punt. You're like, yeah, but you don't understand, I'm a punter. Like that's what I do. It's exciting, man. That's dope, bro. I love that. Peter, it's funny too because I feel like we've seen with like the rise of Pat McAfee, sort of the rise of appreciation of punters and like the for the brand type of stuff. Have you felt more love in recent years as a punter because of the prominence of a former punter?
Yes, I think Pat has really brought attention to the punting game, and I think before Pat started on College Game Day and with his podcast and all that stuff with the for the brand, I think that people didn't really appreciate it as much. And I think now because of him, people watch punting more. And I think that there's people here that appreciate me because they've watched Pat and they've kind of heard about punting.
It's cool.
Through that.
That's cool, man. Peter Moore, Calvert Hall Zone, with us here on GCR. All right, Peter, you got the opportunity to do something special this season and wear number 25 down at Virginia Tech. And I did not know what this was all about. I was not familiar with the tradition. Can you explain to people what it means to wear number 25 for a game at Virginia Tech and why it was a big deal for you to get that opportunity?
So number 25 at Virginia Tech it's Coach Beamer's number. It's the number he wore, and obviously Coach Beamer had huge success in special teams as a coach here, and to get to wear that number, it really means a lot to me because it's representing his legacy. It's representing all the great kickers, punters, long snappers, punt returners, kick returners, all those guys that played on special teams before me and carried on Coach Beamer's legacy. It's just really special to get to wear that number and represent something bigger than myself.
What about the fact that like you were and again, I'm not trying to sound like I'm diminishing the role of a punter, but again, you are a punter, right? Like that you were chosen to do that, and what it says about you and what you mean to the team, what you mean to Virginia Tech. How significant was that feeling?
Yeah, it's really significant because it tells me that people value me and the coaching staff believes in me and my teammates believe in me and they understand how important I am to the team's success.
It's cool, man. I think it's a really, really cool thing. So now you're coming to play in Annapolis, very close to home. Do you maybe like go into the meetings? I mean, this is a bowl game we're talking about, right? Like I know you want to win it, but do you go into the meetings and say something like, "Hey, if there was ever a time to pull out the fake punt and let me throw a bomb, this has to be the game where you let me do it," right?
Well, last bowl game I converted a fake against Maryland with a little run to the left. So we'll see. Maybe we'll draw something up. I don't want to give it.
I get it. You don't want to let Tulane know what you're doing. But come on, man. Like this has got to be the moment to pull everything out. Like line you up in the backfield on an offensive play for this game, right? Like you got to be campaigning.
It would be the perfect game to run a fake in front of the hometown crowd.
Dude, the place would go nuts. I mean, it would go absolutely batty if you got the opportunity to do something like that. And then as you move along, Peter, as you've gotten deeper into your career, I mentioned earlier the opportunity to do this professionally. Have you gotten a feel for how close you might be, what you still need to work on? It's easier for us at like other positions to look at players and say, oh, this guy, runs this speed. We know that can translate to the next level. Do you have a feel for what the difference is still for you to make sure that when you come out, you're ready to have a career in the NFL?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing at this point is directional punting, just making sure that I'm punting the ball in the right spot. I think I'm really close on a lot of things for being ready to go for the next level. I think my hang time and my distance on my punts is at that level. I think I just need to improve directionally, and that's really the one thing that I'm going to be focusing on to get to the next level.
All right. The coolest thing that you're going to is there any I don't even know if you guys are going to have the time during the week, but is there anything about Annapolis in particular that like you want people to experience, you want to tell your teammates, your friends about?
Well, I want guys to get the giant milkshake at Chicken Roost Deli.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
that's pretty important for me. I always love doing that. That's always really fun. Might not be the best idea right
Before a
game,
game, yeah.
Yeah, maybe earlier on in the week that might be a better day to do it.
I don't know that anybody gets to bring like their girls up with them because I feel like this Snowflake Alley thing, it's like something you do with a girl. Like it's not really like a thing for the boys to go over and check out Snowflake Alley, is it?
No, definitely something you do with a girl.
Yeah, right. More of a like. I mean, I guess it'd be nice. You guys could have fun with it and like do like fake pose pictures and have fun with that. But obviously, far more. It's supposed to be a romantic thing to make a stop at Snowflake Alley while you are in town during the Christmas season. Peter Moore, it's so cool, man, that you get to do this. I mean, it's just really, really a cool thing that you get to do during the course of your career. Let's remind everybody. Social media wise, Instagram, it's Pete Moore 18, correct?
Right.
And then what about on Twitter?
Twitter is More Pete 18.
More Pete 18. Peter, congratulations on all the success you're continuing to find at Virginia Tech, man. Looking forward to having you back here in Annapolis next week, and what a cool story that is. And we'll continue to be in touch. Best of luck. Thanks for taking the time for us, as always, man.
Thank you so much.